Welcome to the Parenting Lab podcast. I'm your parent coach, Brittany, and I am here to guide you into the calm, clarity, and connection you're looking for as you transform your parenting from the inside out. Let's get started.
Hello, everyone. I have been looking forward to sharing this few minutes with you this week so that we can talk about love. Specifically, what love looks like when it has conditions placed on it, and what it looks like when it doesn't. So if you're a parent who's trying to break free from patterns that were passed down to you from your own childhood, I hope you'll listen with intention today. We're going to be talking about what conditional love is, how it shows up in everyday life, how it feels for your children when they sense the need to earn your love, and how you can give them the gift of unconditional love, even if you didn't experience that kind of love yourself. When we say conditional love, we're talking about love that is given or withheld based on your child's behavior or performance. It's when a parent's love feels like it's on a kind of scoreboard. If the child behaves in a certain acceptable way, they do their homework, they get good grades, they listen without complaining, then they feel loved. But when they mess up or make a mistake or they don't meet those expectations, they might feel that love is taken away or that they need to earn it back. I know that many of us were raised with this idea that love is a reward. We're taught, and honestly this is often unintentional, but we're taught that approval or affection is something you need to work for. Maybe when you were growing up, it wasn't common to get compliments from your parents unless you did something of particular note. You got good grades, you made a winning play for your team, something like that. And when you did get a compliment, or an "I'm proud of you" from your parents, it was closely followed by a suggestion to improve even more. Like, "Hey, good job on the win today, but you do need to work on your free throw for next time." That kind of feedback may have left you feeling like even your best wasn't good enough, or that your parents cared more about the win than they did about you. That conditional approach often becomes internalized, and later on, we might find ourselves unintentionally applying that same dynamic with our own kids. But what happens when children experience love as conditional? Well, a few different things tend to happen. For some, it creates anxiety and fear. Imagine being a child who feels like their worth is based on how well they perform. So much research behind this, but so much research shows that when children perceive their parents' love as conditional, it can lead to low self-esteem, anxiety, and even depression. This sense of needing to earn love can become a constant internal pressure, creating a child who's afraid of making mistakes or facing failure. For others, it manifests as people-pleasing. If someone grew up in an environment where they felt like they only got love or approval when they met certain expectations, they might start believing their worth depends on making others happy. Maybe they learned early on that being good or acting a certain way would earn them positive attention, or it would help them to avoid conflict or deflect negative emotions. Over time, this need to please others becomes a habit. And ultimately, it can lead to them ignoring their own needs in favor of trying to make everyone else happy, even if it means sacrificing their own well-being. I work with so many parents, and even clients who aren't parents yet, who feel so trapped by this deeply held belief that they are unlovable unless they accomplish these endless, impossible lists that they've created in their minds. It's almost like these lists or these boxes they check are their offering to the people around them. Like, look at all these things I did today. Can you please love me now? And when they don't get the feedback they're looking for, they love themselves even less. And the list gets longer, and this noose of people-pleasing gets even tighter. Another symptom that we see in people who grew up with conditional love is the tendency to see love as something external. It's almost transactional. This shows up as needing constant external validation because deep down, they don't know how to love themselves. They don't have this core belief of personal value. They don't believe that they are intrinsically lovable or valuable, and they're only the sum of their appearance, their accomplishments, or their ability to make others' lives easier. This can be particularly damaging in adulthood as we try to navigate relationships and parenting, because babies and children, no matter how old they are not super good at validating their caregivers. I promise it's not very often that you hear a child say, "Hey, good job on the dishes, Mom. I'm so proud that you washed and dried the laundry today." I would venture to say that based on my experience with both clients and in my own parenting, that this is a huge thief of joy in relationships. Constantly needing validation and the work that it takes to get it is exhausting and almost never, ever satisfying enough. It's never enough. We can never do enough. We want to feel loved that desperately, even if we don't realize that that's what we're doing. Often we're feeling these feelings, but we don't have the language or vocabulary to really put it into words. We have all of these symptoms, but can't quite reach the root of what's really going on. So these are just a few of the outcomes of conditional love. And if you have felt any of those, even a little bit, it can feel really painful to recognize that and to acknowledge that maybe we were raised in that way. But not every love is conditional, though. And I want you to keep in mind that our emotional paradigms are shaped by many, many people and factors. You may have felt conditional love from one of your parents, but not the other. Or maybe from your parents, but not your grandparents. Or maybe you had a harsh, unloving coach, but a really nurturing English teacher. Your relationship with love, whether conditional or not, is complex and varied with many, many, many branches. So look towards your past, especially your parents, with a perspective of grace and growth, okay? We aren't here to criticize the people in our past, but to consider how we can take this information, mix it up a little bit, change the way we see it, and then turn it into something different for our children and our relationships, and hopefully see ourselves a little bit differently as well. So what about unconditional love? What is it and what's it all about? Unconditional love is exactly what it sounds like. It's love that's given freely without strings attached. It's the type of love where a parent reassures their child that they're worthy of love no matter what. It doesn't fluctuate based on a child's behavior or achievements. It's a stable, unwavering force that tells the child, "You are enough just as you are." Now, don't get me wrong. This doesn't mean that you let your kids off the hook for poor behavior, or that you don't have rules and boundaries or enforce consequences. But it does mean that your love for them doesn't depend on those things. It doesn't depend on them being perfect. It's a total mindset shift, one that says, you don't have to earn my love. You already have it. It's separating love from everything else. Expectations, reactions, consequences, all of these things about parenting and relationships that tend to change and grow, morph and ebb and flow over time. And making your love a constant, steady, unwavering line at the center of your relationship. That's how I imagine it. A straight line with sound waves intersecting it. Those waves are the things that we deal with every day. Anger, joy, high expectations, hopes, mistakes, fights, exhaustion, and just the ups and downs of daily life. Sometimes I'm happy with my kids, and sometimes I'm fully raging. But those are just transient emotions. My love for them never changes, and hopefully they feel that. It's something they can rely on. That when we are in a wave that takes us really far from that center line, we all know that that love will be the gravity that pulls us all back together, right? With my own children, this has been an absolutely fundamental part of my own healing process. And it's one way that I'm working to change some generational patterns. But how do we as parents give that kind of love if we didn't receive it ourselves? First, let me say this. Healing is possible. You can break free from the patterns of conditional love that you grew up with. It just takes time, but it's absolutely within your reach. And here's how to get there. First of all, awareness is key. You cannot change what you are not aware of. So start by paying attention to how you communicate love to your child. Do you praise them only when they succeed? Or do you tell them you love them even when they make mistakes? Do you follow compliments with suggestions? Do you praise outcomes more than effort? Do you easily find the flaws in your child's character or struggle to appreciate their gifts? If you find yourself withholding love or affection because of their behavior, pause and ask yourself, am I unintentionally teaching them that they need to earn my love? The foundation of this healing process is recognizing when you're slipping into these conditional patterns so that you know where to interrupt them. Now, I'm going to pause here and I'm going to offer you something that might challenge you or at least get you thinking. And that's what I want. I want to get you thinking. So here's my question. Do you believe that love should be unconditional? Can you look at your child, whatever stage they're in, or look at your partner, or even look at yourself? And do you truly believe that you are worthy of love no matter what? You might know that intellectually, but do you really believe it? Is there something your child could do, or be, or say, or become that would cause you to love them less? Is behavior more indicative of worth than inherent traits and personality? Is it easier for you to acknowledge what they do or who they are? I'm asking this because if your answer to that is yes, deep down I think if this happened or if that happened, I might actually love them less. If that could happen for you, that's okay. You are not a broken person. You are not a broken parent. I'm simply offering this as an opportunity for growth if you choose to grow in this way. Okay? This is deeply, deeply conditioned behavior for most of us. And it isn't limited to family relationships either. Our education, employment, politics, social media, even people's relationship with God or higher power is often felt to be transactional. Like we have to earn our worth, as if it isn't already there, inherent in who we are. So it's okay if this is uncomfortable. And for sure, this will not be a quick fix, no problem, as of today, I'm good kind of situation. I just want to get you thinking and formulating and maybe considering what a mindset shift might look like for you, okay? Okay, back to it. How do we move out of conditional love patterns and into unconditional love? That's where we're at. We need to show empathy and compassion. Sometimes as parents, we can get caught up in wanting our children to be a certain way, whether it's well-behaved, successful, or independent. But kids are human and they're going to make mistakes. And when they do, instead of punishing or getting frustrated, try offering empathy. Instead of saying, you should have known better, try, I see that you're struggling and I'm here for you. Let them know that you're a safe place for them to fall no matter what. Not every mistake needs to be a learning opportunity, but every mistake can be a loving opportunity. So separate the behavior from the very human person behind that behavior, okay? This can be hard if you didn't experience unconditional love as a child, so it's important to begin by reparenting yourself. That means acknowledging your own childhood wounds and giving yourself the love and care that you may not have received. You have to learn to show up for yourself before you can truly show up for others. This can be a tough and emotional process, but there are so many resources out there. Books, therapy, support groups, parent coaching. All of those things can help you. When you start to heal your own wounds, it becomes infinitely easier to give your children the love that they need. Along these same lines, if you grew up in an environment where love was conditional, there's a good chance you also learned to be really hard on yourself. You might feel like you need to earn love or approval from others, including your kids, but practicing self-love, treating yourself with kindness and compassion, helps you model what unconditional love looks like. When you are able to show your child that they don't need to earn your love, you're also showing them how to love themselves. So that's just a couple strategies for you to think about. Awareness, empathy, compassion, reparenting, and learning how to love yourself first. None of these are super easy, so I 100% encourage you to reach out for support if you feel like this is something you want to explore and change in your relationships. This takes an enormous amount of intention and focus, and what I've shared with you today is just hopefully enough to cause some movement of energy in this direction. So let's wrap this up with a quick reminder. Your love for your child is not something they need to earn. They already have it. And even if you didn't grow up with unconditional love, you can offer it to your children. You don't have to be perfect. None of us are. But as long as you're striving to give your child love that's steady and unconditional, remember that line that's centered and unwavering, then you're already on the right path. And when your kids know in their very core that your love for them is unconditional, you will be the person they run to when they face challenges or need help, not the person that they run from. So I hope that gives you something to think about today. Thank you so much for listening. I hope that you have something new to think about, some tools and inspiration to create the kind of love in your home that's healing for both you and your children. As always, I'd love for you to share this episode with the people in your life that might want to join you on this journey. And I look forward to being with you again next week, where we'll continue to explore the art and science of parenting and put your parenting to the test. Take care.
Thank you for listening to the Parenting Lab podcast. For our complete catalog of online courses, free resources, or to join our mailing list, please visit theparentinglab.org. See you next time.